Hey guys, it's Kevin again, and this can be my review for 24 Live Another Day, Episode 4. And this episode was amazing. It was by far the best episode of the season. Just wow. I loved it. I thought it was a fantastic episode. I cannot wait for the next episode because this episode was fantastic. I think it was the first episode I've seen of 24. I was into it the whole time. There's nothing that I thought was boring or anything. I was into this whole episode the entire time, and I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. Let's just get to it. So as we know, Jack started that riot in the last episode, so we pick up right from there. We see that a riot has been started. Jack's outside the embassy. He's able to get inside the embassy. He tells Chloe that he has to get in and out with the flight key as quickly as possible. He assaults a guard and chokes him unconscious. He asks Chloe where to go. She tells him what room he needs and that he needs an access pass. He has one and is on the way. Chloe accuses Adrian of causing this by having Chole flub the pass. She tells him that people will die, and Adrian sees this as Jack's fault, which it kind of is. Jack started this riot. If you think about it, it really kind of is Jack's fault because he started this riot. So, you know, for him to say yes, it's Jack's fault, it really is. Jack put this upon himself. Nobody, said, let's just start a riot. Nobody said it. It was all Jack that decided to do it. So because of that, yes, Jack really did set that up for himself. So I can see why someone is saying that, why Adrian was saying it's Jack's fault. Adrian says he just wants Jack out. He says open cell is to expose governments, not assist them. And Chloe tells him to get out of her sight. She continues working to help Jack. Another hacker asks how she'll get Jack out, and she says she's got security camera access and will talk him out of it. So she really, at this point, wants nothing to do with Adrian. She wants to handle this situation for herself. It really just shows how good of a friend Chloe is to Jack, and I really like the beginning of this episode. Showed how good of a friend she is to him. He says the building is full of Marine, and she says she wants Jack out of there alive. He tells Adrian that he's lucky open call, still needs his help. She defends Adrian and says he was doing what he thought was right, and she asks for who. Then we see Kate and Riddler. They come to the embassy guards. They tell them that Jack is in the building and after Tanner. He agrees to take them to Tanner, calls several guards to help, and Jack finds Tanner's room and uses the pass to get in with him. DeNavo is there too, and Jack says there has been a security breach and there are people in the building. So the phone is ringing, and Jack tells him if he doesn't come out now, he can't get them out safely. DeNavo goes for the phone. Jack knocks him out. I mean, it's just really crazy shit going down this episode. It was only the beginning. It was really crazy already, so that was great. He tells Tanner that he believes his drone was hacked, and there's a major attack plan. He says he needs his flight key to stop it. Tanner asks how he can trust him. Jack says he's the only one who believes him and his only shot to clear his name. Tanner says it's on DeNavo, and Jack finds it as Chloe says that Kate and Riddler are on the floor coming for him. So Jack thanks him and goes. He tells Chloe to get him out of there. She guides him to a real stairwell. The guard sees DeNavo on the floor and calls for a medic, and Kate knows Jack was there and asks Tanner where he was and what he did. Tanner refuses to talk to them, but DeNavo says he took the flight key, so the guard looks down across access on all passes. Jack comes to a door and tells Chloe that it's useless. She says, oh, more Marines are coming, and Chloe says he can get out and will be put back in prison. So Jack follows wires in the calling to go for the secure communication room. Honestly, I thought Jack was going to get arrested this episode. I really did. I was pretty convinced Jack was going to get arrested, especially at one scene towards the end, which I'll get to. But Kate knows that Jack is there and asks Tanner where he was and what he did. Tanner refused to talk to them, but DeNavo says he took the flight key. So the guards then locks down all access on all passes. So Jack comes to a door, tells Chloe that it's useless. He's now trapped. For the rest of the episode, Jack is like trapped in this door because they just denied all the access to the passes. So she says more Marines are coming. Chloe says he can't get out and will be put back in prison. And Jack follows wires in the ceiling to go in for the secure communication room so he can send her the data from the flight keys, and it doesn't look like he's going to get back out of the embassy. Then we see Margot. She checks in with her son. He's almost got Yates' device interface He says he needs to check the guidance models and says Navid will be able to take control in about an hour. And Simone talks to Navid about what they can have once this is done. A life and a family. He's waffling and she tells him that her mother will not let him shrink his duty. So Navid says his plan on giving Margot the chance to hurt him. He says he wants them to live now. Simone says he can't be serious, says it's impossible even if she agrees. She says her mother's guards are impossible to get away from. He says there's a supply run daily that leaves one gate unnamed. Navid has keys to the gates and a car ready to go. Navid tells her he could have left a week ago, but he waited on her. So Simone tells him she loves him, begs him to go through with it. She says if he does, they'll leave and never be a part of one of her mother's schemes again. So he says he's leaving today. He wants her to go. He says he wants to spend the rest of his life with her. He tells her to choose her mother or him, and Simone tells him she'll go with him. So, I mean, that was a really difficult decision. Your mother or me, and right away she's just like, alright, I'll go with you. It wasn't like, alright, we're going to take a whole episode, and I'm going to think about, do I want to go with him, or, I mean, this is not the Americans, where everything is very slow-paced, which I love that about the Americans, but this is 24, it's a fast-paced show, so I was surprised that she said yes right away, but then I thought, it's 24, of course she says yes right away. So Navarro calls Kate and asks why the embassy is on lockdown. He thinks that Jack and Tanner are working together, but she says he didn't try to get him out. He just took the flight data, and she says she's hunting Jack down. Chloe guides Jack to the comm room, and he puts his gun to a guard's head to gain access, plugs the key in. Chloe sends him to a secure IP. The Marines are close, but he's uploading the data. So Jack then tells her it doesn't matter what's happening to him, and makes her promise to get the date to Heller. The data shuts down, and Adrian comes over and said it has to be decrypted before it can be sent. So Adrian has a fix. He sends a decryption key to Jack, who asks how long this is going to take. Adrian says it depends on the level of decryption, and the workers in the comms room stare at him warily. Chloe says he needs to buy some time, and Jack asks if the guards are wearing body armor, and she says yes. He has one of the women open the door, fires off rounds as the guards, knowing he'll hit armor. Several of them are knocked back and go down. They return fire. He has the woman close the door back and yells at everyone to get down. And again, it's really intense here because he's separated from, Chloe the whole episode. I just thought it was really good the way they did that. Simone then goes to talk to her mother, Margot, alone. She decides to talk to her alone. And she offers her a cup of tea. Simone then smiles at her. Margot asks what she needs to tell her and asks if it's a problem. She asks if it's Navid, and Simone says he can't go through with piloting the drone. She says he's planning on leaving, and she told him she would go with him to buy some time. She asks her mother not to hurt him, and she says she loves him. So, again, this is kind of like Nina from The Americans, because it's kind of like this mission where she was forced to be, forced to make it look like she liked him. But, she really does love him, and she really does care about him, so Margot says their family has worked too long and hard to let anything get in the way. Margot says he may be her husband, but she will do whatever she has to do to make him pilot these drones. She has no choice but to make him pilot those drones, and basically, she has to do that. She has no other choice. So Margot says, that, basically, then we see Heller. He has addressed Parliament and says he would do anything to bring back the lives that were loose. He says he wants to find a way for them to move forward together. He says that means understanding the lives that were lost. He says he wants to find a way for them to move forward together. He says that means understanding the threat they face, a determined enemy sworn to destroy their way of life. Mark gets a call from Navarro. He tells him that Jack is in the comms room of the embassy and has taken hostages. Navarro says he can no longer keep Jack's presence a secret. Mark wants to know if the Marines have taken control. He says they have and will likely be sent up the chain to Heller soon, so the decryption is going slow. Chloe asks Adrian if he can speed it up. She doesn't trust him, but he says he's doing it for her, not him. So, again, it's still really intense here. I really do love, as I said, love that about this episode. Yeah, so I really like that. So, Chloe says it's going to take 20 to 30 minutes to get Jack out of there. The phone in the comm room rings. Jack says if they come in, they will kill all three. He will kill all three of the hostages. He does not care who they are, who they work for, what they do. He will kill all three of them because they locked him in there. They locked him in there. He's gonna kill them. This is Jack Bauer we're talking about. He doesn't have any second thoughts. He knows what he wants to do, and he goes with it. He does it. So that's why I love Jack Bauer, because he's one of those taking charge kind of guys. He's one of those guys that just gets things done, and that's why Jack Bauer is the ultimate badass. He then tells them to stay away, and at 2:28, the leader of the guard says they need to go in. Jack tells the woman in the room that he needs them to take him seriously, but he has no intention of hurting any of them. He asks them to remain calm, so they're going to be fine. However, he's probably going to kill the hostages. Riddler and Kate come back to talk to Tanner. They tell him they just want to talk to him about Jack. They tell him Jack is still in the building, surrounded by Marines. Tanner asks what the point is, and says Jack is the only one who has believed him. They ask what his relationship is with him, and he says he just met him today. So, Kate is just completely wrong about this. She thinks that Tanner and Jack are working together, but it's not true at all. Tanner's not even, he just met Jack today. So, seriously, it's completely wrong. So Heller thanks Parliament for the opportunity, so express their gratitude and appreciation for the relationship that binds their two countries together. He gets a nice round of applause when he's done. He goes to Audrey and she says he was fantastic. Mark comes up to him and asks to speak to the president in private. Mark tells him that there were a breach at the embassy and there are hostages. Mark says it was Jack that took the hostages. Audrey is floored. She is so surprised that he did that, and Heller asks why Jack would do something like this, and Mark says the CIA picked him up, but then he broke out of their faculty. Audrey wants to know how long Mark has known. Mark says the embassy is waiting on his word to go in, and Audrey says that means they're going to kill Jack. Heller says it's a no-go on taking a shot at Jack until he gets to talk to him. He tells Mark to make it happen, so he tells Mark to make it happen. So the data is almost 60% transmitted, and Simone comes in, finds Navid packing his bag. He tells her it's time to go. But then Margot is there as well. And Margot tells him basically what's really... it wasn't easy for Simone to tell her because she loves him very much. So Margot basically is forced to tell him. She has to tell him because, Simone didn't tell him. So she's basically forced to tell him. Margot tells him that trying to back out is a strain on his honor. And she will give him one chance to rectify it. And Navid says he won't kill innocents, and she says they're not innocents when they elect murderers like Heller to lead them. Navid says someone has to stand up to her, and Margot tells him he's a coward, and if her husband were alive, he would be sickened by him. And Margot tells him he will pilot the drones, and Navid says he will not, no matter what she does to him. Margot says she believes him and calls Simone over. The guard holds out Simone's left hand. Her daughter screams out, "What are you doing?" And just like, wow, what she did. I mean, it was huge what she did. Margot said she's doing whatever's necessary. The guard pins Simone, hacks off Simone's pinky with a chisel and a hammer, goes for another finger. Navid begs her to stop, says he will pilot the drone. So yes, she was okay with a bunch of security guards cutting off her daughter's finger. This woman is crazy. This woman is officially crazy. I mean, I thought Simone was bad. This woman is literally crazy. She really is, and just like, what the fuck, Caitlin Stark? Seriously, I mean, that's Caitlin Stark. I don't care what you say. I'm thinking of her as Caitlin Stark, and it's just like, shit, this woman is insane. She really is. So Kate and Ritter come down, ask for access to Jack, the guards in charge. Corrido refuses and says they can't add any more influence since he's out of control. Kate says that Jack shot the guns right where he knew the armor would protect them. Kate calls Navarro and says that Healer needs to ask what Jack has to say. Navarro says that Healer is making a call to him shortly. So Kate asks to be looped in on the call. Navarro says he can't do that, and he can do that. Jordan tells Navarro that if they had listened to Kate, they would still have Jack in custody. She says she seems to have a beat on this. So maybe they shouldn't ignore what she is actually saying, because maybe she actually knows what she's talking about. So Navarro essentially then dismisses him and says he's being objective, and Jordan isn't because he has a hot for Kate. He reminds how Kate missed what was going on with her husband, and he likes Kate, so he's trying to impress her, basically. He says Margot has a device, we'll use it today. Heller asks what he's doing in the room, and he says he's uploading the data to people that are helping him. Jack won't say who he's working with, because obviously Jack doesn't want to reveal that to people. You know, that'd be really bad on his part. He needs 15 minutes before he turns themselves over. Heller asks why he didn't come to him. Jack says it was his State Department that put him on the watch list without him even ever having an opportunity to defend himself. He says he wants to recover the device or the data so he can come to them with proof. Jack says he's never lied to him and isn't lying now. I thought this was a great performance from Kiefer Sutherland right here. Really good acting in this scene. I thought really, really good acting there. So Heller asks why the security chief, if what Jack is saying is possible, and the guy says it's not. Mark says that Jack broke Chloe out, and that Jack is working with Open Cell. So he says he asked for 15 minutes, but every second is putting lives at risk. So Audrey asks, what if Jack is telling the truth? Mark says that Jack is a designated terrorist, and Heller says he and Audrey know Jack, and he doesn't. Mark says he knows the damage. Jack leaves in his wake. Mark reminds him that he almost fled the Russian president and says he's not the man Heller once knew. Heller says to tell the Marines to go in when they're ready. Audrey's not happy. Really, it is. Jack's not the same guy he used to be, you know. Jack used to be this guy that listened to the president's orders, and now he's basically doing his own thing. He's kind of like, he's in I don't give a shit mode. He really is. He doesn't care what happens to him. So the data is at 69%. Chloe shows Adrian something. It's a photo of drone attacks. It's a footage of drone attacks. Adrian says she doesn't have to convince him if it's wrong to kill people by remote control. She says that the Marines think Jack is a threat and they may kill him before they get the proof. She asks if he has any ideas to convince the government that Jack is telling the truth. And Adrian says he has nothing and asks why she can't let Jack go. And he asks what it is between them. She doesn't answer and then she walks away. So then at the embassy, Cordero tells the guards to do what they need to do to keep the hostage safe, but then goes to one guy in particular and tells him to take Jack out the second he has a shot. Kate calls Navarro, says it all makes sense now, because Jordan says that Jack's info on Margot checks out, but says he can't do anything to stop what is about to happen with Jack, because Heller has spoken. He knows what he wants to do. They really have no other choice but to do what Heller says, because Heller's the president. If they disrespect the president, they could be thrown in jail. So that couldn't be good. Kate goes to agree and says it has access in the comm room. Rittler says that she's going to get shot. It's now 2:53 p.m., which means the episode is coming to a close. And she says she needs to convince him to come peacefully. The guards prepare to blow out the door. This was an awesome scene here. I love this scene. I thought this was awesome. Audrey chews Mark out. Says he has a personal agenda. She says he's been lying to her ever since Jack came to town. She says that Jack is telling the truth. She says, God help us if I'm right, and walks away from him. Which, you know, she doesn't really know if she can trust Jack or not, but she's pretty sure now that Jack is telling the truth. Which he really is. He really is telling the truth. She then says that Chloe tells Jack that they are cutting the cameras. Jack says Heller must have given the orders to take him out. He says he's going to hold him off as long as he can. Chloe tells him to give himself up before they kill him. He puts a file cabinet in front of the doors and tells the woman in the room that it's going to be loud when they blow out the door and to keep their heads down. So the guy who's supposed to shoot Jack says there's another heat signature approaching the room. Rittler is there and says it's Kate, and she's trying to help Cordero, who says that he has his orders, and Rittler accuses him of shooting first and asking questions later. Jack hears Kate in the ventilation shift, and he shoots. She tells him she's unnamed and to let her in, and he does. So she says that she believes him, and I just thought this was a great scene because finally someone actually believes Jack. She tells Jack she believes him. She believes him 100% and says that she will make sure the data is uploaded. He asks why he should trust her, and she says he doesn't have another play. So Chloe tells him to trust her. They blow out the door. Kate tells him that she has Jack in her custody and it's a CIA matter. She tells them to back up. Cordero has no choice but to call him off. She asks Rittler for his cuffs and grabs the flight key. So, basically, they can trust this girl. She's actually going to help Jack. Finally, someone that's actually going to help Jack. It didn't seem like there was going to be anyone that would help Jack, but finally, someone did help him. So, she tells him to call Navarro, get them out of there. The upload to open call aborts as Audrey and Chole watch. The Marines secure the lady hostages, get them out. Kate pushes all the guards away from Jack, and the one designated shooter still has his gun aimed at Jack. Kate stares him down, tells him to back off, and he does. So, that was an awesome scene. I thought that was fantastic, and I'm really hoping that this girl is sincere and that she really does want to help them. I think she does, but we don't really know. The final scene, we see Simone is lying in bed with a bandaged hand, and Navid sits at the piloting station. Margot comes in, and her son says they are online. Margot tells them to pick out the 10 most heavily armed drones closet to London so Navid can take over piloting them. She asks Navid is clear, and he says yes, and that's how the episode ends. It was amazing. It was the best episode of the season. I love this episode. That really was a fantastic episode, and I loved it. I thought it was great, and there are a couple of things I am wondering. One, Margot is officially the craziest character on this show. I mean, she cut her own daughter's finger off, and just seriously, how far is she willing to go? That's what I want to know. How far is Margot willing to go? Also, will Heller and all of them find out that are they really plotting against Jack? Why don't they think they can trust Jack? Like, what do you think is going on there? Also, is this girl sincere? What's going to happen there? Also, what's going to happen with Audrey? She said, I 100% trust Jack, and there's nothing you can tell me that's not true. So, we'll have to see what happens there. But again, best episode of the season by far. I loved it. I'm really looking forward to the next episode. That's been my review. Hope you enjoy. My next review will be for Awkward, which by the way, I'm watching Awkward live tonight because Fargo was disappointing. So, I'm watching Awkward live tonight because Awkward is just so much better than Fargo at this point. So, that's been my review. Hope you enjoy, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Okay, bye.